Hey there, hi there, hello there. It's us. And we're on time. What? That makes no sense. This must be the mirror universe. I don't know what's going on. How y'all doing? TCG, thanks for throwing out those 5 free memberships to Lee Baker, Astro Zombie, Brian James, CBK Ply, and Barney Fraggles. Who the hell is Barney Fraggles? Hi, Barney Fraggles. Don't know you, but apparently you're subscribed, so that's awesome. Thank you so much.
And watching.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't always do people who are watching. It just does people that are subscribed. Yeah, it's really weird. We saw that on I think Legion of Myth the other night or something. It just puts people up randomly. And everybody who's joining us from Sean's channel and Brian's channel and Cody's channel, welcome aboard as well. If you are planning to super chat tonight, maybe, I don't know if you will. I don't think the adventure is going to call for much of that, but we'll see as we go. But remember, you can only do it in my channel. If you do it in their channel, it won't count. So keep that in mind, please. And beyond that, we're back. Happy New Year. It's time to do some sojourning. What do you think? Now, you guys will notice Bunny is not present with us tonight. Don't worry, she hasn't quit the campaign. She's just under the weather. So we're letting her relax. There, as she says, Bunny and Navia are dying. So... the Engine Damsel will be watching. There you go. How you guys doing? How was your New Year? Was it good?
It's great.
Absolutely.
We watched movies and built Lego.
And snarked a live stream. Yes, we recall.
Yeah. Also that.
Yeah. But Sean, how was yours, man? You were the one missing throughout our festive holiday season here.
Low key. I went on some streams early in the day and then just buried myself under blankets and warmth and played Skyrim.
There are times I just don't believe you're Canadian. There are just times when you say stuff like that, I go, you're from Florida. Admit it.
Yeah, spiritually, I'm from the tropics for sure. I was born in the wrong climate. I hate the cold. But I can tolerate the heat.
What's your ancestry, if you don't mind me asking?
My what, sorry? Oh, ancestry is Scottish.
How can you not like the cold? Come on, man. You're Northern European. We handle this shit well.
No, we don't. We complain about it.
Well, that's how we handle it.
And that's the Scottish right.
We generate body heat by going, that's good, bad. No, don't like it. Fuck that. No, that's perfect. Great.
Even on my father's side, I've got a lot of European, so... Yeah.
Which one? Like southeastern European?
Well, my father was Belgian, so
yeah, you're getting south. Okay, you're getting into that where freezing temperatures annoy the crap out of them as a culture, so that's okay. It makes sense. There we go. All right. See, mine are Irish, Scottish, and Danish. The sun does not exist in my ancestry. The sun is like an evil thing that will destroy the world one day, apparently, and the enemy of all mankind. Who knows what lies in the mist? Anyway. Everybody, hey, Victor, both users, both ushers present there? What? Are you having a stroke, Logan? What was that? Fall of the ship of Usher? What's going on? So it's been a month since we've played as the Sojourner crew, but we are now here and back together again, minus Bunny, who is under the weather, of course. But we're going to do our best to survive without Bunny and Navia. We'll do our best. It's like I heard her voice. Like there's a ghost haunting us. The ghost of Bunny is floating in the background.
She can play the ship's computer today.
I can't go high pitched enough.
Magil Barrett was not a high pitched woman, my dear.
No.
I just finished watching the DS9 episode with the Xanthi fever, where she makes everybody on the station start acting super horny. It's like, yeah, Magil Barrett did not have a high pitched voice. No. She was a throaty lady, and it was good. Okay, Chris, it was a joke. Here's the problem: when the jokes make no sense, they're hard to get. But that's okay. I love you anyway. All right, so we are going to get started, and the way we're going to get started is with a captain's log, I believe.
All right.
Take it away, Cap.
Captain's log, stardate 58005.02. The USS Sojourner has been directed to Starbase 718 for some routine maintenance, and more so, 72 hours rest and relaxation for the crew. Also, this stop will allow for us to transfer our command cadet Navia to her next assignment on board the USS Calgary, leaving me with a yeoman for the time being. As a side note, Admiral Jellicoe has also told me that our counselor situation will be addressed as well at the Starbase. I can only imagine what his cryptic meaning is. For myself, I look forward to catching up on my paperwork as well as various Starfleet dispatches.
And with that, we will cut to a beautiful exterior shot of the Sojourner pulling into Starbase. I think it was 718, which is a large mushroom space dock style starbase. It's out here near the Romulan frontier, so it's certainly one of the larger ones. You hand over control to Starbase Control, and they tell you to enjoy the ride, Sojourner, and they pull you in via tractor beams and give you a nice dock. Varad Trowel, you get a communication that says to you there is a message, private message coming in for Captain Novak from the station commander.
Very well, Captain. Private message coming in for you. You want to take it in your ready room?
Yes, I will be there. Thank you.
I transfer it over.
All right. So you head to your ready room to want to listen to the message.
Yes.
So it pops up, and there's a rather there's an expression that the French have when they describe the British, and it's that they call them roast beef. It's the very roast beef. There's a very roast beef looking man on the screen. Big, handlebar mustache and, puffy pink reddish face, blotchy complexion, thinning white hair, the whole 9 yards. And he's got Commodore's pips on, and he's like, Captain Novak, good to see you. I hope you're doing all right. I'm Commodore Grimsby. I'm the commanding officer of Starbase 718. How's the day find you, sir?
It is good. It's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance. How can I help you today?
We have approved show leave for all of your staff, except by order of Admiral Jellicoe, your command staff must remain on the ship. There will be an explanation in your transporter room within the next couple of minutes.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be disappointed and excited at the same time. Thank you, Commander.
Indeed. And once you're wrapped up all of that, I'm sure we'll be happy to make all facilities available to your command staff as well. But in the meantime, sir, you have yourself a magnificent remainder of your day, and I look forward to speaking with you perhaps on the morrow.
Yes, I look forward to it in person.
Grimsby out. And, that's it. Trial, you're getting a notification that someone is beaming over to the ship.
Okay.
On the station.
Is the XO on deck?
Oh, yeah, she's on deck.
All right, I tell her we have incoming transport.
Captain, we've got a transport coming in. Would you like to head down, or shall we handle it for you?
I'll head down. Do you know the identity of the transport?
It's
Call it up.
It's classified.
Classified, Captain.
Okay. Send it down to transporter room 3.
Would you like anyone to join you, Captain, or will you go by yourself?
The XO can join.
Aye, sir. She looks around the bridge. Commander Davison, you have the comm. And she gets up and heads off the bridge as you put your ass in the center seat. That's right. You're in charge of the ship in space dock. Congratulations.
I finally got my chance.
Yeah, to do nothing. She meets you in the corridor heading towards the transporter room. She goes, classified identity. Something I should know about, Captain?
Not yet. I'm not totally sure either. This is a surprise for the command crew.
Very good. So you walk into the transporter room, and your transporter chief, who is the Scottish Eastern European guy, what was his name, Wojciechowicz, is there. And standing on the platform, I will use the best description I can give you. I want you to imagine Annie Lennox from the Sweet Dreams video. So the short, cropped, bright red hair, slightly androgynous looking, very wearing commander's pips on a teal medical and/or sciences uniform, which I always thought was really funny that they did that, because it's like you're on the battlefield. You help me, I'm hurt. I'm a scientist. I can't help you. Why are you dressed like a medic? So I always thought that was kind of a silly thing. So you're going to have to give me both. Well, just you, because the NPCs don't have to roll anything. I'd like you to give me a reason plus either, you can take your pick, science or medicine, for your check here.
Oh yeah, I wasn't
need one
plugged into roll 20, so I'll just roll it in my
Guys, you don't have to roll on roll 20. I trust you all
my
to use
gosh.
dice like humans.
double ones.
What? Yeah. Well, you only need one success, so that's 4 successes. How much do you want to use for this for extra information? How much do you want to throw in? The mental pool is at 5. It can go to a maximum of 6, correct?
We're at 4 because we have 4 players.
No, yeah, it's right. It's only 4 players tonight, so it's at 4. But the maximum of the pool is 6, right?
6 is the max.
Yeah. So how much do you want to throw in the pool? How much do you want to use for extra knowledge?
1 for extra knowledge, 2 into the pool.
Okay. So the person you are looking at would be of a species known as Hermat. And the Hermats are they're a Federation member. They are they're hermaphroditic species. They have one gender that handles the whole shebang for themselves. The extra information you get out of this is that they are non-psionic as a general rule, and they do not have extremely long lifespans. They basically average out somewhere around 75 years is the length of their maximum length of life. And as such, they tend to, bless you, recycle names considerably. So any member of the Hermat species will have a name with a number after, representing which version of that they are to have had that name.
Okay.
Oh, and you got it. Well, I'll give you this one. They use her, HIR, and ish as their pronouns as a general rule. That's right. Star Trek was progressive before 2016. So this person is sort of just looking at you, waiting for you to, and just sort of looks and goes, Commander Sorian 112, requesting permission to come aboard, Captain.
Sorian
112.
Permission granted. Welcome. I am
Thank
Captain Gideon Novak.
Yes, I've had a chance to overlook your SAC file. I'm from Starfleet Counseling. I'm here to assess you and your command crew.
Excellent. I'm sure we'll be very willing to answer any questions or do anything that you ask.
And just for you, since you might not know who I'm talking about when I say Annie Lennox from that period, that's pretty much in a Starfleet uniform what you're looking at. Yeah, Mouse, do what I want you to do. There we go. Yay, Mouse did what I want to do. And with that, we cut to the fantastic credit sequence and all that kind of stuff as the audience goes, what? A counselor? And when we regroup, the command staff has been brought to the ready room with the captain, all of the command staff, and this counselor. As basically she, SHI, is addressing you all. I'm so sorry to have cut your shore leave for this, but the sooner we get it done, the sooner we can give you back some of those hours as best possible. What's going to happen today, and if need be tomorrow, is I'm going to meet individually with each and every one of you, and we're just going to talk. I want you to understand the counseling room will be a safe space, a place where you can feel free to speak your minds, share your truths. There will be no recriminations. There will be no exposing of any information shared. There will merely be conversation. Before I begin breaking you down on the schedule, are there any questions for me?
Nope. And I returned to my console.
Someone don't like
Is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
Well, we've noticed in the log reports of many of your officers and experiences that there's a great deal of stress on board the vessel currently. You've undergone some rather intense missions of late, and without a resident counselor, Starfleet and Admiral Jellicoe felt it would be best that we took this advantage to do a little emergency measures. Nothing's out of the ordinary, nothing wrong, just a stopgap, if you will. Mental health is very important to Starfleet.
Yes.
Madam, what would be better for my mental health is to be on Starbase right now playing hollow golf.
Indeed. As you are clearly unfamiliar with my species, madam is not an appropriate term, Doctor. You may call me counselor.
Oh, excuse me, lady.
Doctor, I do not want you to feel threatened. I'm not.
Oh, I don't feel threatened in any way, madam. I mean, lady. I mean, doctor.
Counselor. I am a counselor.
Counselor.
There we are. Look how we got to that understanding, Doctor. Very well, then. No other questions? So, Trowel, as you're watching the room as you do from your, just glancing at people, the body language of the command staff is fascinating, and the fact that the XO has presented statue-like reaction. Like, if she's frosty normally, she's solid ice right now. Like, she's just looks as professional as humanly and Alpha Centauranly possible. What is Chuck's general body language like there, Chuck?
I am just not comfortable with this, so I'm looking at a pad, reading an engineering report, glancing up every now and again, just trying to blend into the chair.
All right. And you clearly can figure out what Taylor's from all of that show is all about. And you can see that Zimmer has a very disturbing look on his face from your point of view. It's like you can literally see he's trying to work out whether or not, like, he's looking at her as if to go like he's not that profound about it, but you're picking up the subtlety of his reactions. He is clearly confused by a hermaphroditic species. Muse, on the other hand, is an android and is just sitting there observing. What's the captain's body language like there, Mr. Novak?
Actually, pretty comfortable and happy to see this this person who may help him with his crew. So he's excited that maybe we could get to the bottom of some of the things where they seem to be kind of maybe disobeying him, sort of, just a little.
Fair enough.
Well, I'm at my station. I'm just going to punch up.
No, you're in the ready room. You're not at your station. You're in the captain's ready room. You're sitting. So you're looking at a pad. Your console is a pad.
Right. Well, I'm going to call up any information I can on her.
Basic Starfleet regular service record. Was a wartime counselor. Full commander, command school. Nothing standing out. No red flags. No yellow flags. Just a very competent officer.
Just the red hair. Okay.
Just the bright red hair, which is endemic of her species, to have very shocking colored hairs.
Mm-hmm. Very well. It doesn't hurt to go over it.
Mm-hmm.
Quietly and surreptitiously, of course.
Of course. Now, for my players, we're going to be doing something a little different that normally we would be doing around a table together, but we're going to do it here and see how it works out for us. I am going to jump question to question from player to player to player, and you will be your character when the question is asked to you, and how you respond will be what your character says. If I repeat a question, it will be, like I'd say, Dr. Taylor, exact same question, and then Dr. Taylor would give his. Now, it won't happen always like that, but it's what we're going to do. It's going to be an interesting little role-playing scenario for us tonight. So, arrangements are made to provide her with an office for his needs. And the first person up is Captain Novak. So You sit. There's tea provided if you whatever your Starfleet file says is your most common replicated beverage. There is that waiting for you. Same for all of you. And if it's alcohol, it's synthahol, Taylor. It's not full on Kentucky bourbon, not rye.
As Dr. Taylor pulls out his
flask.
tunic flask.
Yeah, exactly. Got this on Andor. It's good for temperatures up to -50. But anyway, please have a seat, Captain. Again, I don't want you to perceive me as anything more than a sympathetic ear and an observer. There is no hostility or attack coming from my side.
I hope you can see that I am not worried in the least.
As I am not an empath, I must go solely by my training and read your body language and words. Betazoids have a much easier time being counselors. Vulcans, sadly, the hardest.
I understand the challenge that you must face.
I met a Tellarite counselor one time. The most aggressive being I've ever met. But he was able to get results with war veterans, that's for sure. Now then, if you don't mind, I'm just looking over your crew roster here, and I would like you to tell me, if you wouldn't mind, what is your opinion about your executive officer, Commander Reese?
Of course, you asked that one. I know the least. Okay. So far, she seems dutiful, and capable, with very little personality.
Yes, as your log reports have indicated, but certainly log reports are professional and not personal. What is your personal opinion of your XO?
I have no personal opinion. She is
Really?
a fine XO.
You don't form personal opinions of the people you work with?
I normally do, and I have personal opinions of the rest, but this one I just happen to not really have one.
Fascinating. Very fascinating. Dr. Taylor, I would like to know what your thoughts on Captain Novak are before we go any further. We might as well start at the top, shouldn't we?
Oh, pardon me. Did you ask a question? I was
Again, Doctor.
tasting this fine coffee since Chuck Davison, fine officer, by the way, fine engineer. He finally fixed the replicators. Did you get some? Would you like some nurse?
There's no nurse in this room, Doctor. I'll get to Commander Davison later in our conversation, but for now, I'd love to know what your personal opinions of Captain Novak are.
Oh, he's a fine captain. Little stuffy. But not the first time I've dealt with stuffy individuals such as yourself. I mean, the captain.
And how do you normally deal with stuffy individuals, as you put it, Dr. Taylor?
You know why I find a good wisecracker humor works best, or maybe a stiff drink.
I see. Humor, alcohol. Any other techniques you have for avoiding emotional vulnerability?
Hologolf works very well. Have you tried hologolf? Fantastic.
I have not yet had the pleasure.
Let me explain the rules to you.
Perhaps later. Maybe you'll even show me how to play, but for now, I'll control the session if that's all right with you.
Oh, of course. Proceed, Doctor. I mean, Counselor, Madam.
In your last mission, according to the records, you encountered 2 individuals that you had a personal history with.
Indeed.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, it was fine. Fine.
Really? Perhaps you could use more words.
What
Expand
would you like
upon
me to say?
fine. I would like you to tell me more than fine. Were you not shocked to see these individuals after so many years? Were you not taken off guard?
I rarely get taken off guard, Madam.
And yet here we are. Commander Davison, the ship runs on engineering. Would you not agree?
You're muted.
Well, I mean, obviously somebody's got to keep the lights on around here.
Yes, yes. Now, I notice your last assignment, there was some trouble.
That's a generous way of putting it.
I'm not here to judge. Would you mind explaining it to me beyond this Starfleet report?
Well, I mean, the captain was lax. The chief engineer, was cutting corners because he was taking his cues from the captain, and people died.
Brett in a counseling session. No, but tell me about your childhood.
I can't. It's classified. No.
And how did Captain Novak respond to you being on his ship?
I don't think he wants me here.
Yes, it is a matter of Starfleet record that he did not pick any of his staff, but you were all assigned by Admiral Jellicoe. Did that cause friction between you?
I think he's been on my case since the minute I walked on the ship.
Would you mind defining "on your case," please? I'm not familiar with the idiom.
Just from the first meeting that I had with him, I don't think he trusts me. I don't think he believes that I can do the job. And, I'm doing my best. I think everything's working, random, incidents of banana pudding, but,
Banana pudding.
Yeah, the replicators, seriously. Like everything has a taste of banana pudding. Still has the regular flavors, but you still taste banana pudding. I think I finally got it out.
And do you have a personal investment in fixing this or a professional one?
Both.
And how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like I have something to do.
And when things don't go right?
Try again?
So you believe in a get up and go for failure? Try again.
Yes.
Now, Lieutenant Trow, you are an unjoined Trill. Is that correct?
Last I checked, yes.
I see no indication on your service history as to whether or not you had applied to become a joined Trill. Had you, or had that never been something of interest for you?
No, I absolutely did. I was brought up in the relevant program. This is all on my file. This is all public knowledge.
I don't have access, unfortunately, to any Trill records, only Starfleet record. So therefore, we don't have the judgment of the Symbiote Council. We only have the status that you are unjoined.
Well, then I'll make it easy for you. I was in line for a Trill for joining, and somebody else cut in line, so to speak, to use a human term, and I was denied. So I left the program and joined Starfleet.
Would you mind expanding on cut in line?
Let's put it this way. Are you familiar with the human term nepotism?
I am familiar with the word.
Well, that's what I believe happened. The person that got the joining was related to one of the administrators, and that was that.
You believe. You have no proof.
I have no proof.
And how does that make you feel?
Well, I know they're related. That's
fair.
Whether they got the joining because of that relationship, that I have no proof of.
But it is a belief that you hold.
It is one that I hold, yes.
And what do you feel about that?
I feel that I don't feel like talking about it.
Well then, I shan't force you. Give me your opinion on Commander Reese, please.
Well, the stick up her ass has a stick up its ass. To borrow another human colloquialism.
Indeed.
She's very capable, but she's very rigid.
Very rigid. And Captain Novak?
More or less the same. I'm still forming my opinion of his abilities. You don't fall upwards. You don't fail into a captain's chair, generally speaking, in Starfleet. But he's made some choices that I question.
Yes, that's usually reserved for the Admiralty. Sorry, a little joke. Doctor, how would you assess the interaction of the command crew?
Are you sure you don't want some of this fine coffee?
I hear it tastes of banana pudding. I'll pass, thank you.
Really? I thought that was all gone.
Or you're just used to it by now.
Your
I'm
assessment
sorry.
of the command
You
crew,
have to
Doctor?
tell me the question again.
Yes.
Who am I
indeed.
assessing? Or are you assessing me? Or what are we doing here?
What are your personal feelings about the command crew? We can go individual by individual, but I'd like an overview of what you see, Doctor, as you are the health guardian for this crew.
Indeed, I am, madam. And they're all fine individuals. Fine. They do their job well.
But personally, I'm aware they do their job well. I can see the reports. What do you think of them personally?
They're fantastic folk.
Everyone? Fantastic?
Absolutely
A blanket of awesomeness.
fantastic.
Commander Reese, would you say she is fantastic?
I haven't got to know Commander Reese very much.
Therefore,
She
you have no
seems
opinion?
to always she's a little bit what's the word? Not as laid back as the rest of them.
Might you say stiff?
Stiff, yes, very good expression.
And Commander Davison, what do you feel about him, Doctor?
Oh, Commander Davison, he's one of the finest engineers I've ever met in Starfleet.
And as a person, a colleague?
Oh, he's a fantastic person. Very pleasant. Very pleasant.
You like this word, fantastic.
Is there something wrong with being positive?
No, not at all.
Would you prefer me to be negative? Do you want me to talk about the negative aspects of the crew?
I want you to be honest, Doctor.
Well, I am being honest. In my honest opinion of Lieutenant Commander Chuck Davison is he is a fine individual and a fine engineer.
So, Captain, what is your opinion of Lieutenant Commander Chuck Davison?
He has proven to be better than his file would indicate. Thus far, I have actually been impressed.
That's it. Impressed. Have you shared?
My expectations were somewhat low.
Yes.
But he has proven himself to be as good as any engineer I have worked with.
Have you shared with him that you are impressed with his work?
Not yet. I was hoping to do so on this little break. We're always working, we're always planning, we're always reacting. This would be an opportunity to have a conversation.
Lieutenant Trowell, what is your opinion of the captain's handling of the incident on Centria?
Would have been much smoother if he'd given us more information at the outset. Information about the hostile native inhabitants, and perhaps his relationship with the people we were going down to get. That was all kept from us when we first went down.
And one of your team perished, unfortunately. Yes. And how did that make you feel?
I was angry. I was even more angry that my colleagues making fun of the body right at his feet, right at his death.
Do you blame yourself for his death, or do you blame someone else?
No, I don't blame myself. Death happens sometimes, although we might have been able to avoid it had the captain given us a little more information. That's not to say I blame him, but it might have been avoidable.
And who would you say is the biggest security risk on the command staff, Lieutenant Trowell? May I call you Varad?
As you wish. It is my given name. This is informal.
Varad is the biggest. Everything we do is informal, sir.
All right.
There is no record beyond my notes, and I will provide my assessment to Starfleet at completion, but anything spoken between you and I remains in strictest confidence as per regulations.
Right now, I don't believe there is any security risk. No, nobody poses any significant risk that I can see.
Fascinating. So, Commander Davison, may I call you Chuck?
Please.
Now, I noticed that's not your given name.
No, it's not.
Your given name is... I'm sorry, I can't pronounce this. Human names are difficult for me.
Clifford?
Clifford. And why is it that you don't want people to call you Clifford?
That was my dad's name.
Oh. Is there an unpleasant connection for you with that name? Or your father? If you don't feel like talking about it, I understand, but I would love to know more about why you feel this negative connection.
Well, I grew up on a farm, and it was, constant work, constant, get up and move. We were far from the city. So, he just all he cared about was working on the farm. And then when I decided to join up with Starfleet, basically he just cut me off and started ignoring. We haven't spoken since. That was a long time ago.
And was that when you stopped using the name Clifford?
Oh, I'd stopped using it years before.
So that wasn't the catalyst for your not wanting to be the junior.
Correct.
What was the catalyst, Chuck?
I don't know. I think it was just wanting to be myself.
Fair. And where does the name Chuck come from?
It was... Man, that goes back a long time, and I haven't thought about it. It was a girl that I dated in high school. And
a girl named Chuck?
No. No, I was just complaining about my name, and so she started calling me Chuck, and it just stuck.
So you're suggesting, and please correct me if I'm wrong, adolescent desire to establish your own future?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Well, I don't go with things that aren't correct. If I'm wrong, please tell me.
I honestly couldn't tell you right now.
No, perhaps you'll tell me later then. Doctor, you have a nurse, Bethel, working with you.
Oh, fine woman. Fine woman. A little fiery. But I like her.
According to her psych profile, she's very dominant.
She is indeed.
Many doctors who have worked with her have found her unpleasant. They do not appreciate her insubordination. How do you feel about her?
I think they all got it wrong. She does the job perfectly. I haven't met a finest nurse in Starfleet.
Again, I'm looking less for their professional assessments and more for your personal assessments of them.
I think she's a pleasant woman.
You trust her?
Absolutely.
I understand she was insubordinate with the captain recently, trying to bar him from sickbay.
She was only doing a job.
And how do you feel the captain handled that mission, Doctor?
It's not really my place to say, madam.
Oh, but it is. As a medical doctor on board the ship, you have the right to declare the captain unfit for duty at any point in time, and it is sacrosanct if you can prove it. It cannot be even overturned by the Admiralty. That is a tremendous power, Dr. Taylor.
It is indeed, and I would not use that power lightly, madam.
No,
and as far as I can tell, the captain is more than fit for duty.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the captain's prerogative for what he did on that mission. And I trust him wholeheartedly because he is my captain.
And what did he do on that mission?
Well, you read the report. You have it right in front of you.
It's like reading a book. I'd much rather talk to the author.
I was not the author of the report.
The report was assembled from all of your logs, Doctor. Everyone's log gets assembled into these reports. Now, what would be your personal observations about that mission?
He displayed excellent command characteristics. And diplomacy. Did I mention Captain Gideon Novak is one of the finest diplomats I've met in any Starfleet officer?
Noted. Lieutenant Trow, you have a Klingon as your second in your department. Is that correct?
I do. He's a good man. Or a good
Yet,
good being, a good officer.
You noted he was one of the ones who was laughing at the death of one of your team.
No, he wasn't laughing. He was there, but he wasn't laughing. He just didn't see the problem with it.
And why was that?
Part of his culture, as far as they're concerned. The dead body's an empty vessel.
Yes. We feel the same way in my culture, but in your culture, not so. Is that it?
No, and normally not in human culture otherwise, as far as I know.
Neither of us being human, who are we to say?
Indeed. Is there a point?
No, just gathering information, getting a picture of things.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about Zimmer.
Lee Zimmer, yes. He is apparently a very good pilot, but he's also highly insubordinate. There's a trend I'm seeing amongst the human officers, a tendency to go beyond protocol, a tendency to let their skills dictate a level of insubordination. There was a pilot in the historical archives, flew on the Enterprise, same thing, Khan's woman, completely insubordinate, but got away with it because apparently she was skilled. I don't like it.
You don't feel that skill should warrant a little cowboy antics?
No, not if it leads to insubordination. Not if it has a direct effect on morale, a negative effect. No. We're officers. We should act like it.
Have you noticed the humans on this command crew providing negative morale?
I haven't made my assessment on that yet.
Spoil it for me. What would be your assessment if I asked you to make it today?
I say a little, yeah. There's a tension, a lack of trust. And that stems to command structure. That stems to insubordinate behavior. It stems to people like Zimmer, or whatever his name is. Sorry. I shared a little drink with Taylor before coming in here.
Yes.
Zimmer openly had a plan to seduce our second in command. That's highly inappropriate.
Really? Starfleet doesn't frown upon such things. Why do you?
Because it's bad for the crew.
Starfleet has not come to that conclusion after centuries of fielding mixed gender crews.
Well, Starfleet's entitled to be wrong.
So you feel your opinion outweighs centuries of data?
Let's call it a cultural divide.
Interesting. Captain, your yeoman has been reassigned. What was your opinion of Command Cadet Navia?
I found that I could trust her and that she was ahead of her time as far as being in the command program.
Have you compiled your final report on her yet?
No, I have not.
Between you and I, if you were to give her a rating, what would it be?
She was very instrumental in at least the first mission and helpful in the second. So beyond what you might expect from a cadet, I would give her the highest possible score.
Did you know Cadet Navia well, Commander Davison?
Not that well, just the
Commander Davison,
Oh,
not
no,
Captain Novak.
Still going. I thought we were still
No, he's like, I'm in.
Like, out of character real quick. I see what you're doing. It's supposed to be like the TV where it's jumping between all the interviews, but I also
pay attention.
Yeah, I also see where it's easy to get caught. Anyways, all right, back in character.
He is gaming with ADHD after all.
It is just true. A scotch. I honestly I liked her. She was, quote unquote fun for a Klingon. Or not a Klingon, Vulcan. Sorry. But she was also, for lack of a better way to put it, she was motivated. She was willing to help. She dove in. Fantastic engineer. Like, I mean, if she wanted to go the engineering track, she could do it. Saved my bacon a couple of times.
Do you feel that she would be better suited in an engineering track than a command track?
Honestly, I didn't interact with her enough to know which direction she could go. I just know that she did fantastic whenever I needed help with with getting things working.
Dr. Taylor, your reports of Command Cadet Navia were quite impressed. Would you mind giving me your personal reflections upon her?
Well, for a Vulcan, she was quite emotional, I must say, which is, in my opinion, is quite refreshing for a Vulcan, wouldn't you say?
Fantastic.
Emotions can get you far, as you know, Counselor. You know all about emotions, don't you?
It would be my forte.
Any other questions?
Oh, no, please continue. I don't want to make this about me.
Oh, no, she's a fantastic woman. Fantastic. I think she'll go far in her career, for sure.
And how do you feel that she's left the ship?
I think it's probably a good opportunity for her. She got some experience here with an experienced crew, and she could move on to greater heights. I will miss her, though.
You've been in Starfleet a long time, though, Doctor.
I have indeed.
Many crewmates have come and gone over the years. In your reports, you spoke quite highly of her. Not so much the others. You mentioned what they did, but you seemed to focus on her. Did you have some sort of feeling about her?
I just like to see a young cadet succeed, is all. And I thought she had great promise.
Your reports suggest a certain level of paternal emotion regarding her.
Could be. It could be. I never had children of my own, so I look after the young ones when I can. Try to guide them along the right path. Of course, do as I say, not as I do, if you know what I mean.
Sure I don't. Lieutenant Trowell, what is your opinion of Command Cadet Navia?
She's an asset. A little throws me off how emotional she can be, given she's a Vulcan, but she knows what she's doing. She's got a lot of potential. I think it's a shame to lose her.
And your thoughts on Dr. Taylor, with whom you shared a snort before this session?
He's very personable.
He's very honest, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
Direct.
Mm-hmm.
Insubordinate.
Nope.
According to the reports I've read, speaks his mind even when it's not requested, and at inopportune moments. Yet you have already pointed out other crew members' insubordination being a detriment to the crew. You do not feel the same about his?
The doctor's in a different position. Very much like myself, I'm in a different position. I can say things that come across as insubordinate in other circumstances. But there's still parameter. There's still a parameter to our duty. I don't think Dr. Taylor has gone beyond the parameters of his duties.
So due to your position, you provide a exception for yourself and the doctor that you would not perhaps provide for the flight officer or the science officer, for example.
If the flight officer steps out of line to offer something based on his expertise, then that's not insubordination. If the flight officer is openly bragging about betting the CO, that's different.
But that falls outside of the command structure, so it would not be insubordination unless he was doing it in the line of duty while on duty, no?
As an example, in the line of duty, yes. Everything has a context.
Have you applied for command school yet?
I have not. I have no interest.
No interest?
No.
You seem to be a astute judge of character and a keen observer of regulations. Why would you not want to go down the command track and someday have a ship of your own?
I simply don't want to. I think I'm where I need to be.
Tactical officer and nothing further? Not even an executive officer?
We'll see what the future brings. But right now, no.
Captain, what do you make of your tactical officer?
Very similar. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Because we don't always call him tactical officer. Okay. Actually, a little similar to Commander Reese. Very straight, very by the book. Personality, little light on personality.
Conversely, Dr. Taylor.
Yes, conversely is the correct word.
And what do you think of Dr. Taylor?
I think he is a good doctor. I think he is a little old-fashioned. And generally his demeanor seems to put people at ease.
Have you found him to be insubordinate?
When I tried to have a conversation with he and a couple of other members of the command group and let them know that my approach may not seem conventional, but that I will never violate any command or Starfleet regulations. And I asked them if they disagreed to go ahead and tell me this in private, but not in front of whoever I might be negotiating with. He argued with me at first, but I think he eventually understood.
Why did you withhold information about the Centrians?
Because it was top secret, a top secret Starfleet, whatever the word is.
General order.
General order, thank you.
Yet, would that not potentially put them at risk?
Yes, it would. My understanding was that the general order would stand until it was absolutely necessary to reveal information.
And what do you make of your flight control officer, Zimmer?
More of an extreme personality, but talented enough.
Commander Davison, what is your opinion of Lieutenant Muse?
I really don't have one.
Have you had much interaction with her?
Not that I can recall. I think she's a science officer.
I believe she's acting as both operations and sciences at the time being.
Yeah, I mean, I know she's an android, but that's all I can tell you.
The Federation has deemed androids as a sentient species. Have you made no efforts to get to know her?
I've had too much going on around here. I mean, between the replicators, and the banana pudding, and the scanner incident in sickbay, trying to tell me that Trawl was joined. I've got too many things going on.
You put work ahead of human interaction.
Not always, but we've got some shaken down to get fixed, and that's where my priority has to lie, especially with the way that that the captain seems to not like me. I'd rather make sure the ship is working, and at least keep him happy, as opposed to running around fraternizing. I mean, it's nice when Lee shows up, but I've known him since the academy. So
why you've said this before? You feel the captain does not like you.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, we were, like I said, my first interview. I think he blames me for what happened on the previous ship, even though I wasn't the captain or even the chief engineer, and so he thinks that my guess is that he thinks I'm bringing that to this ship, and I'm just trying to prove otherwise.
What has he done or said that makes you feel this way?
Since that interview, not much, but I just can't shake it.
Yet you believe it, that he is distasteful of you.
Yeah.
But he's done nothing to make you feel that way post your first interaction.
Yeah.
You use your job to busy yourself. You take personal pride in the work you do. You've established only one personal connection on the crew, which is with the man you've known since the academy. You speak highly of the rest of the crew, but seem to have an issue regarding your relationship with the captain. You changed your name because you did not wish to be your father's junior, who you then were disowned by when you joined Starfleet. When was the last time you had a counseling session, Commander Davison?
I don't do counseling sessions.
Might I recommend them to you, please?
You can recommend them.
Oh, if I wanted to, I could make them an order. I do outrank you, and I'm a counselor.
And I would follow the orders, but
gain nothing from it, because if you are not prepared for counseling, you will benefit not from the event.
Sure.
Why do you like Lee?
It's hard to not like Lee.
Some of your colleagues would disagree. Is it a human thing?
No, it's if Lee wants to be your friend, it's just buckle up and enjoy the ride. He's not gonna let you do it. He's not gonna let it be otherwise.
Would you classify yourself as introverted?
I mean, I'd rather be fixing something on the ship than going to counseling.
Touche. Would you say that you did not become a friend of Lee, but Lee made you a friend of him?
That's kind of how Lee operates.
An extrovert adopting an introvert.
Something like that.
Interesting. Dr. Taylor?
I don't mean to interrupt you, madam, but you had the most beautiful face.
Thank you.
I saw just a slight smirk there. Could you do it one more time for me?
Most monogendered species.
You do your own head.
Be with us. Doctor, your techniques will not work on me. You are a formidable opponent. I will give you that.
Well, I was just about to invite you for dinner, but apparently, go ahead with your questions, madam.
Why don't we stick to the subject at hand?
Yes, excuse my interruption, my rudeness.
You have no children. You've never married. You recently had an encounter with your former fiancée and her husband.
Oh, that was long ago.
Was it?
Past is the past. You must move on. Live in the present,
The
counselor.
present.
Never
how
live
do
in the
you
past.
how do you see your present, Doctor?
It is a bright present. Brand new ship, good crew. We're on a voyage.
You're getting on in years, aren't you, Doctor?
A little bit. There's a little bit of spunk left in Dr. Jeb Taylor, I assure you.
Retirement must be something you're considering, though. At your age.
Not at all. They would have to drag me by my hair from this ship, madam.
I see.
As long as I'm still breathing, I hope to be flying on a starship.
I see. And you'll keep them all in working order, is that it?
Indeed. That is my job, after all. That is my calling in life. We all have a calling in life. Like yours is to ask pointless questions.
I assure you there are no pointless questions, merely evasive, deflective answers, Doctor. Now, I would absolutely adore to have dinner with you, if it was a sincere invitation and not another attempt at deflection.
Actually, it was the most sincere question I've answered all night.
Well then, perhaps we will do so
say,
tomorrow on the
6 o'clock?
station. Perhaps tomorrow on the station.
Fine.
Thank you for your time, Doctor. We're done here.
And a pleasant evening to you. I actually reach out and kiss her hand and then exit the room.
You get a slightly quizzical look from her on that, but otherwise you're fine. Lieutenant Trow, I would like you to describe for me what you feel your position, obligation, and responsibility to the crew and the ship in your career is.
Those are three different things. Well,
then give me three answers.
Two different things. My responsibility to the crew and the ship is to keep them safe, to protect them, to sniff out any threats. My responsibility to myself is none of your damn business.
Oh, but it is my business. Starfleet has asked me to make it my business, and the more withheld you are, the less I can give Starfleet an assessment of your mental health. Now, while I understand you're a guarded person and you prefer to keep things inside, by doing so, you tell me things as well.
Well, then
they may not
you don't need to ask questions now, do you?
But they may not be accurate, Lieutenant. Mm-hmm. They might merely be an assessment of your protective, secretive nature.
I have no secrets. Anything you want to know about me is in my file.
It is not. The file is a breakdown of your career and experiences, but it is not a breakdown of your thoughts, your feelings, your mannerisms, of you. You are the person I'm here to talk to, Varad, not the Chief Tactical Officer of the USS Sojourner. You. The person. Now, if you do not wish to answer, I cannot force you to. And if you wish to end this session, say so and it will end immediately.
You can ask the questions you want, but I can't guarantee I'm going to answer them all.
Where do you see your career going in 5 years?
I don't know. I'm taking it as it comes.
Would you concede the point that your job puts you in harm's way far more often than the other members of the crew from other departments?
It's fair to say.
How does that make you feel?
Better me than somebody else.
You feel you would take a phaser blast for someone else if need be?
I'd like to think I would. One can only tell when the situation comes up.
Have you any opinions on Lieutenant Muse?
No, not really. Co-worker, fellow officer. I have nothing to say beyond that. The fact that Muse is an android doesn't faze me or affect me in any way.
I wouldn't have implied it did. Have you made any effort to know her?
No, not yet. I'll get around to it.
Very good. Thank you for your time, Lieutenant Trow. We're done.
All right. I get up. I salute and I leave.
And find the doctor and have a drink.
Yeah. Jeb, bring out that bourbon.
There you go. So, Captain, I would like to know what you think is the future of this vessel.
What I think is the future of the vessel.
The crew. Many captains feel their ships are individuals. Do you feel that way about the Sojourner?
It is growing that way. We are still very early in our tour of duty. So it will take some time for us to grow together, but this is normal for any new crew and any new ship. I have no doubt that we will understand each other. We will work together in a great way. But at this point, I don't know exactly how that will go.
Do you see yourself moving beyond this position in the future, perhaps into the Admiralty?
I don't see why not. Though at this point, I am very excited to continue the tour of duty on this ship and maybe even others before I would move into a position like that.
I see. Well, that's all the time we have for today, Captain. Thank you. And I will be filing a report that I'm sure Admiral Jellicoe will choose to share with you if he sees fit.
Very good. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Captain. So what you're all noticing is that everybody else has maybe done an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Chuck's been in there for a while. Some triple trouble? What the hell is triple trouble? I don't know what that means. If you meant tribbles cost $20. We've already established that. You want absurd? You pay for absurd.
The counselor is secretly a tribble.
Yeah,
Tribble in a trench coat.
And that $20 was well worth it.
It really was. Commander Davison, I want to present a hypothetical situation to you. You're on an away mission. Things have gone wrong. You are in a position to save 2 of the following members of the crew, and only 2. Zimmer, Taylor, Troll, Reese, Novak. What 2 will you save, and why?
Depends on who's closest.
Equal. It's a hypothetical.
It's a hypothetical. Honestly, I don't know how to answer that. I'd have to be in the situation.
I'm not a fan of holodecks, Commander. I find them ineffectual, as we know they're not real. I find this just as useful. You have to choose. If you choose not to choose, they all die. Save 2, Chuck.
I mean, essentially, you're just trying to reword the trolley problem.
Choose 2, Chuck.
I mean, off the top of my head, probably Lee and the doctor.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, Lee's my friend. You know, somebody I know actually cares about me. At least in his own way. And and the doctor, I mean, again, somebody's been nice to me since I got on the ship. Always happy to see me. I mean, he seems happy to see everybody, but you know.
Oh, yes, he does. Do you feel that you may have issues with authority figures?
No.
Perhaps it's something to think about. We're done, Commander. I want to thank you for your time and your patience. There is no judgment here. There is only observation, based on the answers you gave me and the answers you didn't want to give me that your body did. Do you have any questions for me, Chuck?
Can I go?
Yes, you may.
As I'm walking out.
You open the door. Lee's leaning against a bulkhead. That is a record, man. 45 minutes I was in and out. You were in there for 2.5 hours. What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Oh, no. We're getting drunk. Come on. You get a report, Captain Gideon Novak, from Jellicoe's desk. It is a message, not a recording. And it merely says, observations of counselor handed in. Remaining time of shore leave approved for command staff. At which point, when you leave, you will rendezvous with the USS Magellan to receive your counselor. File will be incoming. Personal note. What the hell's going on out there, Gideon?
Okay. Is it? It's just and it's a recorded message I just listened to?
Type. It's like he took the time to write it.
Speech to text.
Do I send a response?
You just acknowledge that you got it. You know, the standard procedure is acknowledge. Since a personal note isn't usually an official thing, it's up to you if you want to reply to it.
Right. Okay. Nah.
Nah. Fuck that guy.
See, 10:15.
So there's a chirp at your door as you're reading that message.
Hold on. And then I finish reading it. And I say, enter.
So Muse enters your office. Captain, I hope that I'm not disturbing you.
No, I finished what I was doing. Please have a seat.
Thank you. So she sits. Permission to speak freely, Captain.
Of course.
I do not understand what just occurred.
You and me both. No, this is normal. This is a thing where they get worried about the messages that come in. This is an opportunity because we do not have a counselor, so they need to get their fingers on the pulse of what's happening on the ship, and so when they do this, they think they know better. Does that make sense to you?
It does, but I do not see the efficiency of it.
I don't think that there's any sense of efficiency in something like this. It's just information gathering.
Does Starfleet not trust us?
Maybe, maybe not. Does it matter?
I would hope that we are trustworthy, as we are in possession of a quite valuable piece of technology and could do a lot of damage if we weren't trustworthy.
Yes, but if we were not trusted, then we would have all been relieved of our duties. Were you relieved of your duty?
No, unless you intend to relieve me, sir.
No, I have no intention of doing that. So I think we're fine.
Very good. Thank you, Captain. I appreciate your honesty.
You're welcome.
So she gets up to leave and stops at the door and turns back. Captain, am I standoffish?
Why do you ask?
I have no personal relationships with anyone on the command crew. I have no understanding of anyone I work with beyond their service record. And no one in the command crew has made an effort to get to know me either. For myself, it's not important, but I've seen the camaraderie between certain members of the crew, and I understand that it is important for Starfleet crews to have that level of camaraderie. Should I attempt to be more sociable?
That is entirely up to you, and I think that it's interesting that you use the term standoffish. Why did you pick that word?
I'm efficient. What I do is my job efficiently. I don't quip. I don't joke. I don't make random observations. And I've seen how people react to the EXO.
Mm-hmm. And so you don't want to be like her.
She is an outstanding officer, has had a tremendous career, should have a command of her own within the near future, I would assume. Why would I not want to be like her?
What do you consider yourself?
I had not considered that question.
Are you a living being?
According to Starfleet and the Daystrom Institute, I
don't care
sentient.
what they say. What do you think?
I think, therefore I am.
Very good. Then that means that you can decide how you wish to be.
I had not considered this, Captain. Thank you. You've given me something to think about.
Very good.
Good day. And she leaves. You now have 48 hours of leave available to you. What are you doing with it?
Well, I've got a hot date.
With an androgynous being.
I'm setting up a combat simulation. Some combat simulation in the holodeck, and all the target dummies are going to look like the counselor.
Chuck, what are you doing with your downtime?
Well, I have a feeling that Lee's going to drag me somewhere.
Oh yeah. That's where Lee's heading, and then he's like, "Listen, it's a sailor port. There's gotta be a cat house somewhere on this Starbase." That's Lee's entire master. Otherwise, Hollow Suite's my treat. He's whatever. He's Lee's here to party. If you're drinking with him, you'll over the course of it start to get his view of what happened, which was that he absolutely loathed the entire experience and would never want to go through that again, and he fucking hates counselors. And he uses that bad word that's lost to time.
Well, I'm not going to the cat house, but I'll accompany him on at least the start of his escapades.
Okay. And what's the captain doing with his 48 hours?
I have a unique holodeck program that is a simulation of my parents. And so one of the things I'm going to do is have a little conversation with them about the first couple of missions.
I would really, and this is up to you if you'd like to do it or not, I'd really love you to blue book that if you wouldn't mind.
What's blue book that mean?
It's where you write between sessions like a this is what I did in my downtime type thing, and just like role play in text basically, but it's your thing to write. It wouldn't be interactive back and forth. It would just be something for me to read after. If you don't want to, I understand, but that would be fucking cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go with Trow. Trow, I mean, look, you can shoot at counselor images as long as you like, but there's 48 hours to kill, and I'm pretty sure Trow's not going to do that for 40 hours straight. No, so once he works that out of his system, what's he do?
No, he's going to take some downtime. Possibly get a drink with Dr. Taylor. Possibly see what the space station has to offer, and have that sparring match with Conan.
Oh, yeah, Conan's more than happy to spar with you. He doesn't play fight. That's the thing. He does not play fight. Conan sparring is just another word for full tilt fighting in his word.
I imagine no less.
Okay. He stops at lethal, but
I have a personal and a professional reason to spar with Conan.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So that ties you up fairly well for the remainder of the time. Captain Novak, you're doing your thing, and that's fine. Chuck, it's probably somewhere around 3 a.m. When you find yourselves sitting with a bottle of Saurian brandy, in a cargo hold on the ship, lamenting lost friends and times and family and what have you, and there's an awful lot of legal. You're a good guy, man. You just gotta loosen up. You're so wrapped up in yourself. You just gotta let it go, man. Just let it go. And I swear to God, I love you like a brother, Chuck, but you need a woman in your life, or a hermat or a man or whatever you want, man. But you need someone, because this ship ain't gonna love you, brother. It's just the way it is. They're engines. There's no love there.
You haven't been inside a Jeffrey's tube when you're getting that thing, getting the ship working.
And now I'm never gonna go in one, knowing that's how you feel inside a Jeffrey's tube. It's really creepy, brother. Trowel hates me, man. I can see it when he looks at me. He hates me.
I think Trowel hates everyone.
That's fair. Really. I don't ever want to have a counselor again. Hopefully we will never have a counselor ever.
I don't think that's true, but I think I don't know. I don't want to do therapy. Just give me my ship. It's fine.
Dude, I love flying this ship. I love flying shuttles. I love making jokes. I love women. I love serving brandy. I love you. But Starfleet's changed, man. Maybe it's time to get out. You and me, we buy ourselves a tramp freighter and just become merchants,
No.
It'll be a piece of crap. I haven't got enough credits stored up to buy something nice, so you'll have to fix it all the time. We go to Rigel, we go to Ferenginar.
But then it's just you and me, and there's less girls. There will be less girls on that ship than on this ship, Lee.
Once we have money, we'll hire more people. We'll get Dr. Taylor to come with us. He's a good dude. He'd keep us alive. Give me the occasional shot for things I shouldn't have picked up in ports. I think this is and then he just passes out. And you realize you might be a little drunk, but you got to get him back to the ship. That's going to be a fun adventure for you. So, as you're getting ready for your date the next day, Doctor, there's a buzz at your door.
Enter.
Doctor.
Oh, Captain Novak. Pleasure to see you, sir.
I was hoping
you notice Dr. Taylor is actually wearing his dress uniform, which is the first time you've seen him wear a dress uniform.
Oh.
And it's actually like properly, he's well groomed this time. He's not like half shaven and shit.
Oh. It looks like I've interrupted something. I was going to stop by and see if you wanted to get a drink.
Well, I do have a couple hours to spare, but I do have an engagement this evening, but I always could find time to share a snort with my captain. Come into my office.
Very good.
Come into my office where I store much alcohol.
Right. I have a seat in his office somewhere.
Clearly for medicinal purposes. What are you busting out for this endeavor?
I've been saving this for a special occasion. Scotch.
I appreciate that you think this is a special occasion.
It is indeed. First time I've shared a drink with a captain, sir.
Oh, is that so?
It is indeed. I suggest taking it down fast. Bottoms up.
I take mine.
Now, a question for Dr. Taylor. Does he subscribe to the theory that a captain will tell his bartender things he won't tell his doctor?
He does.
Okay.
But he hasn't gotten to know Captain Novak yet. So he's I mean, he's pleasant to everybody, he's open to everybody, but as far as you can tell, he's actually pretty closed inside. So it takes somebody he really has to trust to open up.
I hadn't noticed in your counseling session at all.
Yeah, if that wasn't on.
You and Trial definitely have issues, is all I'm saying, of trust. But anyway, continue, please.
I'm just here to enjoy a little drink with my doctor. You seem like a very friendly type. Probably one of the more friendly ones here on the ship.
I try to bring positivity wherever I can, sir. I find negativity brings no good to anyone.
I would agree with you, but I don't think we're surrounded by negativity. I think we're surrounded by duty.
I agree with you, sir. And duty comes first, as always.
Yeah,
and hopefully you're appeased with my duty, sir.
Oh, most certainly. You've been just. I wouldn't say yet that you've been exemplary, but you've been excellent. I'm happy.
Well, I'll drink to that. Another shot, sir.
Yes, why not?
This time, though, we're going to try a little ice. Computer, 2 glasses with ice, please.
Yeah.
We call this on the rocks where I come from.
Okay.
This time, do not take it down all at once. Just sip it, sir, and enjoy.
Okay. Yes. Taste of banana.
It adds something, though, doesn't it?
I agree. I don't think that Chuck did anything wrong.
Somewhere in engineering, a hungover Chuck is like, what? That was a strange feeling, like fatherly approval. What?
So, what did you think of that session that we had with the? Well, maybe you thought very highly of it. As where are you heading now?
Well, she is a fine woman, very, very intelligent, very well put together, you might say. But
do you care about the protocol, Doctor?
Protocol? Of course, I care about protocol.
Okay, yes, you understand that she is not a woman, or nor is she a she.
Oh, really? Maybe you should. Oh,
you weren't aware. You weren't aware of this.
No, sir. I'm sorry. I'm not fully versed in alien cultures.
Oh, you're in for a surprise then. Depending on how the evening goes.
Well, we'll see where it goes. You know, I'm always up for new experiences. Bottoms up.
I thought that you were not supposed to drink that fast, although maybe you're getting warmed up for your date tonight.
Well, it has been a while. Another drink?
I have not finished this one, but I'm enjoying watching you have one. Please proceed.
Yes, replicate more ice, please.
Well, anyway, what did you think of the session today?
Well, I've never been one for interrogation sessions. But, you know, I make my way around them.
I think that you missed the point then, because they are not interrogation sessions.
Oh, what would you call that then?
An opportunity.
Opportunity? I'm intrigued, sir. Continue.
Anytime you get a chance to actually be honest with things that are going on in our lives, and we get to express them without concern for penalties or judgments, then we should take them, because you never know where it may lead.
I see what you're saying. But I have to say, excuse me. Psychology is not a real profession, if you get in. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see. So you have a disagreement with another major scientific aspect of what is essentially an extension of your position?
See, my profession, sir, is real. I save people's lives with my own two hands, and the help of technology, of course. This head, these two hands, and a little bit of help from technology. Psychology, on the other hand, is a bunch of voodoo.
Let's say that we had someone who was mentally unstable or worried about something that they should not be worried about, and then they were in a position that caused many members of the crew to die. If they were to have been talked to or helped by a psychologist before this situation, don't you think that many lives would be saved?
I think that's practical, and I agree with you. But to have psychology done on sane people, competent people, I don't find any reason in that. I should rephrase my answer.
Okay. But how do we know that someone is sane? What is does your tricorder measure sanity, doctor?
No, I can measure sanity myself. Are you sane, sir? From my observation, you are. Am I sane? From my observation, I am. Now, maybe after this next drink, that might decrease a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I think you have an oversimplification of the spectrum upon which we could have different sanity or insanity. It is not that black and white.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
And I think it would behoove you to open yourself up to the possibility that you could learn something from, say, a counselor, should we get one.
You're right, sir. I spoke out of bounds. I just don't appreciate being interrogated is all. I think psychology has its place. Counselors have their place. But I have no place with counselors, if you catch my drift.
I would really love it if you could change your perspective from interrogation to opportunity.
For your sake, sir, I will do so. Here's the opportunity.
Cheers.
From there, we will bounce down to engineering, where Chuck is working on the replicator matrix.
You mean Chiak?
Yeah, Chiak. Perhaps we shouldn't even say working on in engineering. He'd be somewhere in the computer core working on the replicators, trying to get that last bit of banana pudding flavoring out of everything. Give me a control and engineering check. And since you've created such a monster out of this throwaway gag, much like someone else did with some people out of character joking about a dead person, I'm going to make this require 2 successes because you've turned it into something.
And because we have been sitting on our momentum, I'm going to go ahead and burn 2 of it if nobody has any issues there. Because
So that costs 4 of the momentum, right? No, 3. 1, then 2. Yeah.
Go for it.
I thought
So
it was
the
just...
first momentum is 1, the second momentum is 2, the third momentum is 3.
Oh, I thought it was just one momentum per dice.
No, it goes up in cost per momentum.
Oh.
Yeah.
Again, we're sitting on 6, so...
Well, you're about to burn 3 of them.
Right. And, all right. So it was a control and engineering, so that's 15. So I got a 1. I have computers as a focus.
I'll allow it.
So then I've got a 4. So I've got 4 successes. And I've got 6 successes. So we're just going to fill that pool up and then use the...
So you're going to blow the 2 you needed for success and then throw the other 4 back in the pool?
We'll put 2 back in the pool and 2 for bonus information.
Okay. So there is a tiny little piece of code you find that doesn't belong there. You find it, you isolate it, you pop it up, and it's written...
Grandma's recipe for banana pudding.
Nope, it's written in a cipher that you haven't seen since the academy. And then you realize, you son of a bitch. And as you punch the cipher in that you remember, it's a message from Lee saying, "Hey, Chuck, looks like you found it. Well done. Can't wait to see what you find next. There will be more." So as you're sitting there chuckling to yourself at a computer station, just or whatever, a voice behind you, which is the voice of Muse, goes, "Commander Davison, may I disturb you?"
Sure, Muse, what's up?
So you turn to face her.
Yes. I mean, obviously.
She's holding out a pad.
Okay.
So it's her schematics.
Okay.
She's giving you nudes.
Well, funny you should say that. Commander, it is my intention to initiate a romantic interaction with you. I would like to invite you to dinner.
So would you say you're fully functional?
Indeed. I do not see the humor.
That was out of character humor.
Oh, no. If Troll can do it, I can do it.
I'm sorry, Muse. I'm not interested.
That is not possible. I was created to be a beautiful human female representation. Also, I'm part machine, which clearly is something that interests you greatly, given your proclivity to spend as much time as possible in the Jeffries tubes of this vessel. I'm also well-versed in engineering as well as sciences and can speak to you about a great number of things, making me an ideal conversationalist. And as you pointed out, as a gynoid, not an android, androids are male representing, I am fully functional and trained and programmed in multiple techniques. I am, according to my assessment after reading everything I could, a perfect candidate for you. We will have dinner tomorrow night at 2000 hours. Casual dress. See you then. Oh, and I believe it is custom to bring a gift. And she turns and walks away, leaving you with a pad. What does Chuck do?
Chuck's not that into machines.
I don't know, Lee, when you're inside the Jeffries tubes of this ship they've been made under the influence of truth serum, I'm just saying. Who portrays Muse? Summer Glau. Circa Sarah Jane Chronicles. Sarah Connor Chronicles. Sarah Connor. Sarah Jane's from Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Elizabeth Sladen, young Sladen is also a looker. So,
meanwhile, you and Konam have beaten the living tar out of each other, and here's what you've come to the conclusion of. He's this much better a hand-to-hand fighter than you. Like, just a bit much better. But he has a very linear approach to how he fights, which is little defense, mostly offense, and overwhelm you with superior Klingon strength and ferocity. Which, once you figured it out, it was able for you to understand how he fought and then find ways to get around it. But it was still a painful lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And you're definitely going to need to go to sickbay at some point.
Yeah, okay. I'll have to turn the ribs right back to a horizontal position. And but yeah, I want to schedule more sessions with Konam to overcome to blend in some defensive technique to complement his offensive technique.
Do you tell him this?
Yes.
I do not understand.
You will.
There is no need for defense.
Yes, there is.
I will either defeat my opponent or be defeated by them and earn a glorious death.
You'll understand. We'll schedule some sessions, and I have more to learn from you as well.
Yes, you do. You make pain noises. You must not do that. It shows weakness to your enemy.
It's all part of the defense. Yeah. Well,
perhaps we could create a program where one of our Klingon females could fight you first.
Make it 2 and you're on.
Good. We shall do that then.
Yes.
Shall I get you to sickbay now?
Yes.
So you get to sickbay. Dr. Taylor is gone, but Nurse Bethel is there. She takes one look at the two of you, and she's like, "Oh, Jesus. Oy vey. All right, come, sit down. You can leave." And he's like, "Indeed, I will be on the bridge if you need me." "Oh, yes, I'll take the shift." And then he walks away, and she starts scanning. Boys being boys, Lieutenant?
I had a professional reason for assessing his combat abilities.
Ah, so not some peak of machismo needing to see who's the bigger dog in the yard. Is that it?
Not at all. I'm his commanding officer. That's where it ends. But I need to know his abilities. I need to know where his strengths and weaknesses are. It was a painful lesson, but it was important.
How'd you like the counseling?
I hated it. I'd rather go with toe-to-toe with Conan daily than do that again.
I thought it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody should enjoy their life the way they want, but no, I don't have a good relationship with counselors. I hated the counselors on Trill. I hated the counselors after the war, and I hated this counselor.
So, scuttlebutt on the ship is that you and the XO slept together. Is that true?
No.
No, it's not true?
No, it's not true.
Why not? You're both beautiful.
We went to her quarters and discussed the crew roster.
That's boring.
Yes, but it's professional.
So there's no room in your life for anything that's not professional?
When there is, I'll make it.
Ooh, challenge accepted.
Mm-hmm.
She gives you a shot. You may go, Lieutenant. You're going to be sore for about a day.
Yeah, two of my ribs are facing the wrong way. Can you fix those?
Already done. It'll take about a day for them to stop throbbing.
All right. I'll stagger back to my quarters and face plant my bed.
Fair enough. Well, we might as well get to what everyone's been waiting for, Dr. Taylor's date. So you arrive at the Starbase restaurant that she is giving you the thing. She is wearing a very...
Now, before we do this, do I already know the restaurant?
No. Like,
okay.
Unless you haven't looked it up.
Yeah, I'll look it up. I'll look up the location.
French.
Okay. I bribed some of the crew members with some of my contraband alcohol that can actually play instruments to set up a little jazz quartet for us.
The crew?
From the crew.
Oh, I'm going to need a roll to see how well you pulled that off, sir.
I'm going to use some momentum.
That's going to be presence and command, sir.
All right. And
this is Starfleet. Everyone plays an instrument.
Oh my God, Isaac and Gopher. We're making Love Boat references in the chat now. That's it. Bunny's been egging them on quite well with all of this stuff, so you know.
2 successes.
So you were able to achieve what you wanted and get, you know, some crewmates to play music. Now, when you arrive, she's not wearing uniform. She's wearing a very sheer blue, purple, and green sort of iridescent type body dress that clings in interesting places and leaves much to the imagination. She's smiling as she's sipping wine, listening to the music as you arrive.
Evening, Counselor. May I have a seat?
We're off duty. Sorry, we're off duty. Doctor, or shall I call you Jeb?
You can call me what you wish, madam.
Then I'll call you Jeb.
Very well.
Based her name. God, you wrote it down, Novak, didn't you? When I gave you her name at the start? You're muted. I hate when I do that.
Hermat.
No, that's the species.
That's the species.
Oh, that was the species.
So it would have been the name with the number 1, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
yeah. Okay. Saurian 112.
Saurian 112. So she goes, you may call me Saurian 112, but no need to be formal. You can just call me Saurian.
Very well, Saran.
Jeb,
Excuse me. Whatever the lady's drinking, please.
I'm not a lady, Jeb.
Oh,
Jeb, did you take any time to look up the species profile on Hermats?
I did not. I apologize.
One would think the Starfleet designation for our species in the English would be the clue. We are not a monogendered species, Jeb. I'm hermaphroditic.
Oh, I don't see the problem here.
Oh, that's enlightening. Many males and some females see a problem. Monogendered species tend to have a bizarre reaction to us. Either revulsion or fetishism. Given you had no idea what I was, I will rule out fetishism, and given your reaction, I will rule out revulsion.
Madam, I'm just here for a casual dinner and a drink.
Please stop applying female terms to me, Jeb. Sorian.
Sorian, pardon me.
Now, normally we do not get involved with monogendered species, but unlike the Deltans, we are not obligated to take an oath of celibacy as we are non-psionic. Therefore, I will just be blunt and ask, what is your intentions with me, Jeb?
Just to have a pleasant meal and a pleasant evening with you. And I'll be honest with you, Counselor, I'm a little bit more loose with a couple bottles of wine.
Sorian, and most are. And we will just fade away from that moment, leaving them listening to music and sharing wine, as it is 1:46, and that is where we will call this week's episode, Unconscious Bias, to a close. Yay! Send me your votes for MVP, please. And Bunny, you can vote since I know you were listening the whole time.
Who do you? Oh, I can put it. I can.
Okay, she's not voting. Very good. So just waiting on one last vote. Thank you, Brian. All right, Zane, who did you vote for and why?
Dr. Jeb. I mean, you know, you're very good at being different than everybody else. You're very good at like, you feel like a real character, a real person. And you know, using props and things like that, like, you know, you're taking a drink out of your, like, always just on. So I really appreciate the approach that you take, Cody.
Awesome. And what was your favorite moment, Zane?
Probably the, you know, him inviting her out to dinner in the first place. That was probably my favorite moment.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
All righty then. Cody, who'd you vote for and why?
I voted for Captain Novak. I think this is the best role playing I've seen from. Even though Zane does a really good job role playing all the time, he did a really, really good job this session. And my favorite moment was actually Muse hitting on Chuck Davison.
Yeah, the captain had no idea what he set in motion, did he? No. Oh well. Fair enough. All right, Brian, who'd you vote for? And you can say your full statement. I don't mind.
I voted for Dr. Taylor, mostly because of how he was handling the counselor during the session. But I also wanted to throw an honorable mention out to Zane for his drink with Dr. Taylor, and because it seemed like he's trying to cozy up to the crew and just not really knowing how to do it. It's like, yes, we are friends now kind of feel to it.
Yeah, and then I tell him what to do and how to be.
Yeah. As your friend, don't do stupid things. Yeah, that was good. That was good. What was your favorite moment, Brian?
I forgot to think about that. It was honestly just the whole episode, because it was a lot of role play, a lot of everybody expanding more upon their characters. It made me think a lot more about my character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you ask questions and I'm like, I hadn't planned on that. Let's do this. So the whole thing was a lot of fun.
Cool beans. And Sean, who'd you vote for and why?
I said, Dr. Taylor with his foghorn leghorn presentation is just divine. But I definitely Cody this time. He's got a good ease that just brings you in, and the character's a little out there, but just not too far out, just enough to be engaging. So yeah, and I like the interaction. I also like the interaction between Gideon and Taylor. Their after hours drink.
Okay.
Right out of the cage, it was.
Yes, it was. Is that your favorite moment, or do you have a different favorite moment?
No, I think that was good.
I think you all did a fantastic job. And Bunny, you can't vote for me. Thank you, but you can't vote for me.
Well, she did. You just have to. I think
you guys did. Well, I don't care. I'm still God here. I'm Q. You all did a really good job. And I've done sessions like this with groups for years, where they've wound up, even superhero sessions, where they wound up in counseling with a counselor, a psychiatrist who they knew was actually a secret supervillain out of character, but in character they didn't know. So it was hilarious to watch them try to role play, but not give away too much. But then they get into it and they fucking spill their beans, right? But I think you guys all did a really good job. I think the role playing was spot on all around. Yes, Cody, you won, so you get a personal momentum for the next session. Keep that in mind, please. You also all are getting an advancement. So I believe you will go through the rules and see what that does. But I think you can either increase one of your stats, one of your disciplines, or get a new focus, I think is what that is. But we'll figure that all out. The reason for this is because Bunny will be coming in with a new character next session, who will be the ship's counselor. So I wanted you guys to be super comfortable with your characters. I wanted you guys to feel more connected to them and feel more invested in their personalities, more so than just their skills and abilities. And I think you guys did a great job of that. I think there was a really, really clear establishment. Like, we didn't need one with Taylor because we knew who Taylor was, but then him choosing to do the confrontational, I'm playing a game of 4D chess and I'm never going to answer any of your questions and was hilarious, because it was just like, it was all the Taylor we know, but clearly defensive and protected. And it was just interesting to see that aspect of the character. Whereas with Novak, it was really interesting for me to see him opening up. And that's why, for me, I rarely would ever pick a favorite scene as one that I've been involved in, but I loved the scene between him and Muse because it felt very captain-y. Like, like in that the captain is the father of the crew to some level, right? Certain captains feel that way. And it established that a little bit. And I thought that was really good. Brian, you absolutely blew my mind with how much of a fucking basket case Chuck is. It was like, holy Jesus shit, this guy is a nut bar, like he's a bag of all sorts, you know what I mean? But at the same time, fantastic job role playing it all. Cody got Brian voted for Cody, but gave you an honorable mention. But the honorable mention is going to give you an extra momentum as well, Zane. I'm going to call it a double vote. He gets because he voted for 2. He gets Bunny's vote since she didn't want to give one. So that was really cool, and I really like that. Sean, if I had to pick an MVP tonight, it would be you. And the reason it would be you is because you legitimately have established this hard case of a character. Like, he is just like, I hope someday we'll find out what trauma made him this way, what events in his life turned him this way, but he is so rigid in his views of the universe that it's absolutely fucking amazing role playing. So I'm really impressed with that. Like, I got a bit of that in the previous sessions, but tonight I really felt like, okay, yeah, now I know who Troll is a little bit more, and that was a really cool thing to see. So everybody did a great job. If I had to pick an MVP, it would have been Troll just for that, because he really gave me a more of a handle on the character for the first time, and that was really a cool thing to see. But again, all on point, all 100% on point, and I do not envy Bunny having to be the counselor for this batch of what you are. As for everybody who watched with us tonight, thank you so much for watching live. We really, really appreciated it. Will there be a crossover between the two campaigns? Well, they can't cross over with Odyssey because Odyssey's 300 years in the future. And it would be really hard for me to have 10 fucking players at one time. So I don't think we'll see a Paradise Station full crossover. But you never know who might visit Paradise Station or what have you in the future. Anything could happen. If you are watching this on replay or we're done the live and you can leave a comment below, please tell us who your MVP was. Who was the person you would vote for and what your favorite moment was. And we'll absolutely read that and keep track of all that fun stuff. But otherwise, thank you for hanging out tonight. Live long and prosper. And let's all, cheers to Cadet Navia and what her future may hold, right?
Night, everybody.
Peace, love, and geek. Bye now.